Welcome to Business Book Daily. Today I'm breaking down Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman, a book about why smart people still make predictable mistakes and how better decision systems can improve judgment. I'll cover the big idea, the practical business lesson, and three sharp insights you can use right away. Let's get into it. But first, a word from our sponsor. Want to sell more without adding fixed payroll? A lot of smart operators hire commission-only reps, experienced sellers who get paid only when they produce results. If that sounds like a smarter way to scale, post your opportunity at commissiononly.com. Thousands of motivated reps are actively looking for performance-based roles right now. Commissiononly.com. Today's book is Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. He was a Nobel Prize-winning psychologist whose work changed how people understand judgment, decision-making, risk, and human error. The core argument is simple. Your mind uses two different systems. One is fast, automatic, and emotional. The other is slower, more careful, and more logical. That's what makes this book useful. Most of us like to think we make decisions by calmly weighing facts, comparing options, and choosing the best path. But a lot of the time, our brains are moving faster than that. We jump to conclusions. We trust first impressions. We believe confident stories. We make guesses, then look for evidence that supports them. The practical lesson is this. Your brain is built for speed, not perfect judgment. Fast thinking is useful. It helps you read faces, spot danger, answer simple questions, recognize patterns, and move through the day without stopping to analyze every tiny choice. If you had to think deeply about every decision, you'd never get anything done. But fast thinking has a cost. It can make you too confident too quickly. It can make easy answers feel true. It can make a good story seem more reliable than messy evidence. That matters in business because many expensive mistakes start as mental shortcuts. Leaders overtrust first impressions. Teams ignore base rates. Companies chase losses. Managers follow confident voices. Founders make plans based on best-case stories instead of realistic odds. The book's big idea is that better judgment starts when you stop assuming your first answer is always the best one. One of the most important concepts is System 1. This is fast thinking. It works automatically and often without effort. It's the part of your mind that reacts quickly, fills in gaps, and gives you an answer before you've had time to check it. System 1 is powerful, but it's not always accurate. It loves simple stories. It likes patterns, even when the pattern may not be real. It can create a strong feeling that something is obvious, even when the evidence is weak. Then there's System 2. This is slower thinking. It handles analysis, planning, math, careful comparison, and complex decisions. System 2 is better at catching mistakes, but it takes energy. And because it takes effort, people often avoid using it unless the decision feels important or the process forces them to slow down. That's where the business lesson gets interesting. Better decision-making isn't about pretending people can become perfectly rational. They can't. It's about building systems that help people slow down when the decision matters. Another major idea is cognitive bias. A bias is a repeated thinking error that affects judgment. In business, bias shows up everywhere. Overconfidence makes leaders think they understand more than they do. Anchoring makes the first number in a negotiation or budget shape every number that comes after it. Recency bias makes the latest event feel more important than long-term evidence. The halo effect makes one good trait spill over into the way we judge everything else. That's why smart teams still make bad decisions. Intelligence doesn't erase bias. In some cases, smart people just get better at defending their first instinct. The book also explains that losses feel stronger than gains. Losing $1,000 usually feels worse than gaining $1,000 feels good. That sounds like psychology trivia until you see what it does inside a business. A team may hold on to a failing project because admitting the loss feels painful. A leader may avoid a smart risk because the downside feels too scary. A company may keep spending money just to avoid admitting the original decision was wrong. This is how the sunk cost trap works. The money's already gone, but the emotional need to justify it keeps pulling more money into the mistake. Another useful idea is the outside view. People often build plans from the inside. They look at their goals, their team, their hopes, their timeline, and their story about why this time will be different. The outside view asks a better question. What happened the last time similar people tried something similar? If projects like this usually take 9 months, don't build your plan around 3 months just because the team feels excited. If companies like yours usually struggle in a market, don't ignore that because your slide deck sounds convincing. If similar hires have failed before, don't assume this one will work without changing the process. The outside view doesn't kill ambition. It makes ambition less delusional. So how do you apply this? Start by identifying which decisions need slower thinking. Not every decision deserves a long meeting. Some choices should be fast, but some are too important for instinct alone. Hiring, pricing, major spending, strategy, product launches, partnerships, and big customer commitments should have a process that slows people down. Next, separate confidence from evidence. A person can sound certain and still be wrong. Before making a major decision, ask what facts support the claim, what facts might challenge it, and what would change your mind. That last question is especially useful. If nothing would change your mind, you may not be making a decision anymore. You may just be defending a belief. Then use base rates before forecasts. If you're launching a project, don't only ask how long you think it'll take. Ask how long similar projects have taken before. If you're entering a market, don't only ask why you can win. Ask how often companies like yours succeed there. If you're hiring for a role, don't only ask whether the candidate feels impressive. Ask what evidence predicts success in that role. The outside view helps reduce fantasy planning. Watch for anchoring, too. The first number in a negotiation, budget, valuation, or forecast can shape every number that comes after it. Before reacting to someone else's anchor, create your own estimate based on evidence. This helps you avoid being pulled toward a number just because it came first. Build decision checklists. A checklist doesn't make people less smart. It helps smart people avoid common mistakes. Before a major call, ask, what are we assuming? What's the base rate? What evidence are we ignoring? Who disagrees? What happens if we're wrong? What would we do if this were someone else's decision? Those questions can save a company a lot of money. Create room for disagreement. Fast thinking loves simple stories and group agreement. Strong teams make it safe for someone to say, I'm not sure this adds up. You don't need endless debate, but you do need enough challenge to catch weak logic before it becomes an expensive mistake. Be careful with losses. If a project is failing, don't ask only how much you've already invested. Ask whether you'd start the project today, knowing what you now know. That question cuts through a lot of emotional noise. It helps you stop treating past spending like a reason to keep spending. Finally, improve decisions by improving the environment. People don't become perfectly rational just because they try harder. Better judgment comes from better systems. That means clearer data, slower processes for big choices, honest feedback, outside views, checklists, and a culture that values truth over ego. Now, here are 3 insights worth sharing. First, smart people don't make bad decisions because they lack intelligence. They make bad decisions because fast thinking creates confidence before slow thinking checks the evidence. Second, the best leaders don't trust instinct or data alone. They build decision systems that force assumptions, risks, and missing evidence into the open. Third, a strong forecast starts with the outside view. Before asking what you hope will happen, study what happened the last time similar people tried something similar. Today's closing sponsor is memoirghostwriting.com. Many of the best business books start as ideas leaders have been refining for years. Memoirghostwriting.com works with founders, executives, and industry experts to turn those ideas into polished business books that build authority, attract leads, and open doors. They handle everything from interviews to writing, to editing, to publishing. If there's a book in your head that should already be helping your business, learn more at memoirghostwriting.com. That's it for today. See you next time.